Hello, everybody. I'm just gonna wait for some people to join. Um, just gonna hang around and wait for people to join in. Okay. Okay. So kind of lost for words. I'm really nervous actually, because I haven't done a live for a long time. It feels. So excuse the nerves, and I'm just gonna wait just a moment for some people to join. It started to shout at me yesterday that I was to do a live just to try and support people. Um, and today it's really shouting at me. So I'm going to go through a lot of information. I probably won't do it in any particular order because my brain isn't really here in many ways. As always, with these lives, the only intention is to try and support, try and bring some clarity to such a massive, chaotic timeline, um, just to help ease and bring peace to you. If it doesn't resonate, please just let it go, pass me by, unfriend me, it doesn't matter. Just follow your own guidance and what resonates for you, because I assure you it's going to be different for nearly 8 billion people on the planet as we go. This particular timeline is immense, and so yeah, if it doesn't resonate, that's fine. Just I'm at peace with that. So, um, if we just backtrack to recent incoming energies, we ended up with 6 days, 6 days of immense incoming energy like no other timeline we have experienced on the planet in recent history. So that was a longer period than I thought. I thought 3 to 4 days, but it ended up at 6 days of constant energies. And those energies have actually uh, been absorbed within our bodies now. We had a rest period of a few days earlier in the week, but yesterday, which was my Friday, um, the strong energies began again. So we're in an intense period of energy once more since yesterday. This is all designed, it's supposed to happen. It's supposed to be absorbed within each individual based on how much energy hertz they can absorb. Um, and ultimately speaking, it's stirring the pot. So if you imagine a pot of soup on the stove and all these different ingredients, including incoming energy, is being put into the soup, um, that soup has that many ingredients in it now, and it's starting to reach its boiling point. That's where we are. It's starting to simmer to reach its boiling point, and we all get the choice. We can be in the soup. Sorry, making the laptop vibrate with my giggles. We can be in that soup, be immersed in the soup itself, and not be able to see too clearly. And people will be. You have to realize that. People will be. Many will be. Or we can choose to watch from above the soup and be everywhere. What I want to do is just remind everybody of something I've taught again and again and again, because I feel it will support you in this timeline that we're in. It just helps you kind of know where you are individually from day to day to day in this ever changing timeline. So I've already put this image on the Facebook in the comments. Okay, so you can have a look at it there later or download it. I want to remind everybody of the sine wave. So in this reality, we share a collective sine wave, one collective sine wave, and that's the one that we all get influenced by to a degree. We all share it. If we look at Mother Earth, she has her own sine wave that she traverses based on the cycle of the sun. And then if you go microscopically, Mother Earth goes through a microscopic sine wave every day where the sun rises and the sun falls and the moon comes out and then the sun rises. Yeah. If you go bigger than that, you could see it's seasonal. So you have say the winter solstice here, yeah, and then the summer solstice there. And so you have an ascent up to the summer solstice in June, and then you start to have a descent to the winter, and then we rise again. So that's a seasonal sine wave. Now then, the kingdoms share one sine wave. So the animal kingdom shares its own collective sine wave. Human beings, you, me, everyone, because we are the beings that have the potential to be conscious of their own divinity. We have our individual sine wave. So every one of us follows our own unique sine wave every day. So just to be clear again, for anybody new here, we're all sharing the collective sine wave every day. But we each have our own unique sine wave that only you have, only I have mine. And if you can understand that in your own sine wave, it's based on a 3-day cycle. This is why I always say it takes 3 days to integrate the incoming energies, because we each have our cycle of 3 days. So on a 3-day cycle that we each have, you're going to rise in energy, in elation. You're going to feel on top of the world, in a jubilant, excited mode, whatever your personality is. And then you're going to have experience a descent from that heightened state of energy. You're going to experience a descent, until you reach like a bottom ebb of your emotions. That's the key point. That's the magical point. And I'll explain why in a second. So each of us will go up in our emotions and elations and excitement. Events play out that we get excited about, and then we won't stay there. We will descend down to here. Now, what I liken that to for myself is I descend into the Maya. I descend into my personality. I descend into the illusion. Because it's only in the illusion, in your self-created reality, that you're going to go through stuff. You're going to have experiences that you don't like. You're going to get triggered. You're going to get emotional, upset, whatever your feelings are. It's only within the dream, whilst in your personality, that you can experience all of that. And it's there, the reason it's the magic point, I call it, because I'm very optimistic about everything. The reason I call that the magic point is that's where you get to learn. That's where you get to look at yourself through what gets presented to you when you get triggered, when you get upset, when things don't go your way. That's where you get to learn about yourself. And if, when you're at that point, remember it's 3 days. So if at this point you've descended into your human, because you can't pick up these lessons up here while you're in jubilation and joy or above the dream or the illusion. There's nothing to pick up there. It's within the dream reality that we get to experience those lows so that we can turn inward and find the belief systems and behavior patterns that are going on within us. And if we see them, if we're willing to acknowledge them, look, that is where we then ascend. So we learn here and then ascend our energetic frequency. When I say ascend, I always mean raise our energy value, our energetic hertz, because everything's based on vibration, energy in my world. Okay, so this is where the lessons are, in the dream, in the illusion. So we literally have to go back into forgetfulness and become our human personality again, become the emotions, in order to have those experiences where we then get to choose. We can turn inward and look at ourselves, or we can ignore them. Now, this little bit here in the green is just a separate diagram to all of this. Okay, so I want to talk about this just to explain it. You can see it close up, and all I've done is I've carried on drawing more of the sine waves of you, the individual. What I'm trying to explain here is that, say, from down here, we see a major behavior pattern or belief system within us, and we see it. We realize something within us. We realize it was never true about us. We get to then make a new choice. We get to let go of that old version that thought this or thought that, now that we know it's not true. And that's where we get the opportunity to raise frequency. It doesn't mean that these sine waves stop, they still carry on. But if you can see, I've done a Hertz rising chart here with the black arrow of the energy value going higher and higher. And so instead of effectively being on a sine wave at this energetic value, we're then at a sine wave of here. And then if we work on our belief systems and behaviors here and plow through them, we then get to experience another sine wave, which is of a higher energetic value or nature. So it's not that these stop, it's that we experience higher and higher degrees of sine waves that we keep traversing. And that's why this, to me, is that magical point where we get to choose to look within us, or whether to think that everything is the fault of everyone and everything outside of us. If we chose not to integrate or see or look at ourselves at this point here, at our lowest ebb, yeah, on that 3-day cycle, if we chose not to, we would still rise at this base point, yeah, this point, we would still carry on rising, yeah, but at this base point, because we haven't seen, we haven't learned anything. And the reason we still rise is because we're on this continuous sine wave that's always going like this. So we will rise, and that will probably come in the form of a change of scene, change of people, something happens, something comes through the post, you feel joy. But you didn't see the lesson, you didn't see the behavior, you didn't see the belief system whilst you were here. So the scene changed, but you didn't pick up on what it was gifting you. And so, if we go to this diagram here again, you stay there. And you carry on the 3-day cycles, but still at that energetic point. You haven't taken that opportunity to go higher and then go on another sine wave that you're on, because you're always on one anyway. All that matters really is are you rising? Are you seeing yourself? Are you looking at yourself? If we choose to blame outside of us, or blame world events, or blame the family, whatever, we're missing our own opportunity. We're denying ourselves. And that's why I think, personally, it helps to understand how nature works in this reality. Because we question ourselves. And we can be at a high on a day without knowing any of this. And then the next day we feel really low. And it's, well, why do I feel so low? I felt really good yesterday. Well, it was because you were here yesterday at your zenith. At that point, it's always moving. So you started your descent. That's why. It's nature. It's the nature of this reality, this solid world. So you've decided, you know that you're on your descent. So you know that a lesson is coming. Do you see? And if you just see it as day 1, day 2, day 3, once that lesson comes, once that something bites you on the bum, that's the day 3. That's where you get your opportunity to look within, or not. And it doesn't matter whether you do or you don't. It's your choice. And that's where your power lies. It's where everyone's powers lies, is in choice, what you choose. This cycle is the same for every single person on the planet, whether they know it or not. It's the cycle for Mother Earth. It's the cycle within nature, within the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, the oceans. It's there regardless. But if you have days where you're high and then the next day, for some reason, you start to feel low, you understand why. It's that you are a part of it. So, that said, it's all really going to go everywhere now in terms of update. Okay, I hope that helps somehow. Just know where you are in your cycle. And then you've got a clue of what's going to come next. Okay. So those 6 days of incoming energies plus last night's, today's, these are energy values we've not experienced for I don't know how many eons of years. So they're a lot to absorb. It's a lot of energy for everybody to absorb on the planet. I hope you can hear me, by the way, because I've not got the headphone in. This timeline right now, it's already started what I'm about to say, but to be aware, acutely aware for yourself, that it's only going to intensify what I'm about to say. And that is what you are distracted by, what we are each distracted by, and what we each choose to react to. So, let me give you some examples. Everybody has this overlay that we call a personality that in truth isn't who they are, but it's something to experience by in a limited way until parts of that personality dissolve. So based on each one's personality come the distractions. A person, for example, that is heavily into politics will get now distracted heavily by politics. If your distraction is your family, you could get heavily distracted by your family. If your distraction is your partner, you can get heavily distracted by your partner. Whatever is your major distraction that keeps you in the dream, effectively. I say that loosely. It's nobody's fault. There's no one to blame. But whatever it is that distracts you, it could be light versus dark. That is your major thing, where your attention goes. yeah, that is going to distract you even more. It could be that your major distraction is the virus. That is going to distract you more. And it's all designed this way for you to no longer be distracted by the dream, by the illusion, by the hologram. So, whatever a person's distractions are, this timeline is going to intensify our distractions. And if you become aware of that and get centered and go, okay, I'm aware that I'm being distracted over here, and you come back to yourself and you start going within and you start expanding your energy and your awareness again, guess what's going to happen? Something else is going to come along and distract you. So it is a huge, huge timeline designed for you, me, you, not to distract you, but for each to see how they get distracted and submerged into the dream, into the illusion, to then choose to not be distracted. That's what it's about. It's designed to help lift people out of the illusion by the intense degree of distraction that will be presented to you individually. So my distraction might be a completely different subject to you or your family members. There will be huge distraction on the world scene, on the world stage. But if you are a person that is not heavily into the world stage, then your distraction will be personal to you. And as I say, you'll get submerged into that distraction for you to then see your energy plummet and plummet and plummet. Why? To then see through the Maya, see through the soup, see what that distraction is doing to your energy field and you, for you to then step back and back and back and just be the observer. So this timeline is to present great distractions on the world stage, plus in individual lives, for you and me to watch our own reactions. How do you react to those distractions that will present in intensity? And there lies everyone's choice, how we react. The world stage is going to intensify, I assure you. It's not about burying your head in the sand and pretending it doesn't exist, because you live in the world. You have the solid body. It's about becoming very aware of your own reactions to what presents to you. And when you become more and more aware of your own reactions, that's when you begin to master them. When we take responsibility for our own reactions, take responsibility for how we speak, what we do, then we become the master of our own individual reality. And when we have taken responsibility for our creation, for our reality, it's only then that we get the tools, the higher vibrational tools, to create with in a higher frequency reality. We have to take responsibility. So this is why. Can you see it all joins together? Great distraction. Why? For us to react to. Why? For us to observe how we react. Why? To then make a higher choice of how we choose to react. Why? So that we can then become the masters of our reality. Why? So that we can then ascend and have the vibrational, energetic tools that are within us to create from and in the higher frequency reality that you can call New Earth, 5D, whatever you want. Okay? So it's intense, and it will be intense, but it is designed for everybody's expansion. That doesn't mean it will be easy. Everybody is going to be in their own worlds, so to speak, reacting their way. So you're going to watch and observe other people reacting in very intense ways, whatever shape or form that takes. But how you react to them, that's your only business. That's it. That's what it's presenting to you. For you to gauge your reaction to all of the reactions outside of you. I want to share with you a learning dream I had a couple of days ago. I didn't realize I'd be sharing it, but I am too. Um, Learning dreams for me are data in visual form, in acute detail, for awareness of what's happening in the field that we're all in. And it was in 3 parts, this learning dream, just 2 days ago. The first part was to show me that within the awakened community, and this is partly why I'm doing this live, it's to try and support, to just try and give the heads up, try and, you know, pass on that observation of your own reactions. It's just to support, that's all. But part 1 of the learning dream was to show me that within the awakened community, there are people that just aren't ready for what's to come. So what that means is they will just react anyway. And just be aware of that. So there'll be awakened people around you. It could be you, I don't know, that are just going to react to world events, that are going to get triggered, that are going to descend in their energetic frequency. And your only real job is your own reaction to that. That's it. But to be aware that within the spiritual awakened community, what is to come, some people won't be ready for. And if you can just know that and have that compassion, that that's all it is, they're just reacting because that's all they can do, then you can be in your peace at how everybody chooses to react outside of you. The second part of the dream I was given showed me highly awakened people in the spiritual community that are basically packed and ready to go. What do I mean by packed and ready to go? They're highly awakened human beings, advanced souls that will have done everything they needed to do in this reality, but they don't want to hang around. They don't need to hang around for the advancement of their soul. And so when things get noisy in the outer reality, that will be their point and choice to just exit. And so, again, just that wisdom and understanding that they're completely in control of what they're doing. They just don't need to be around for the bun fight, as we would say in England, which is BUN, not M, by the way. But they don't need to be around when it gets noisy. They've done everything that their soul chose to do and experience in this lifetime, and they're just ready for the next point of the soul journey. Um, so it's a very conscious decision to exit. The third part is a little bit tricky to share, but I do want to share it. Um, I was shown a world-known pop singer that came and told me that he would be exiting because he never did like the noise. So you might say, well, why am I mentioning this? It's because he exits when the noise gets more. So that soup, when it reaches that boiling point, this well-known international singer is going to exit. And he just came in the dream to say goodbye, I'm going. So that is a marker point for the intensity that is going to present in the world. I don't want to give the name of the singer because I don't feel that would be of my integrity to do so. But I have told a couple of close friends, and I will post when that occurs. It just seems respectful and honouring to not put the name on social media. But that is going to occur this year, and that is the marker point for the intensity. So it is going to get strong. It already is, and that is the incoming energies that have now absorbed into our bodies. People generally are struggling. If you're not struggling today and you're high as a kite, remember the sine wave. So you could be up here today having a fantastic day, and one of your friends or family could be down here on their sine wave, going through their stuff. And that's why, we share the same collective timeline, but we have our individual sine waves. So just because your friend is up here doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It just means they're on their sine wave. And just because your friend is down here doesn't mean that they're doing something wrong, or they're not on their path, or they're not seeing. No, they're just down here on their sine wave. So there's nothing to judge in a way. In terms of that 6-day energy that we had, what it's also done, because it integrates, its photon light that comes through, it integrates within our physical vessel. It changes the structure of the cells to crystalline based on our general sustained vibration. So the crystalline gets more and more and more and more. So I'm going to speak to people that will know what I'm talking about if it's happening to them. And if you don't, then that doesn't matter either. Okay. But there's so much that I don't say that is happening of a really positive nature. And I don't say it because it can trigger people that aren't experiencing it, basically. But I do want to share this. I'm a person that I see my soul light at any given moment. It's just what I see with my physical eyes, and I have done for about 5 years now. Everybody's soul light is amplifying. It's that our consciousness is amplifying. The soul is already there, yeah. The light body is already there. It's just that our consciousness is meeting it more and more and more. So it's seeing more and more and more. With the incoming energies we had over those 6 days, for those that work with energy, such as myself, and there's other people all around the world that work directly with energy, and that's physical, eyes open, conscious ability to work with energy. They're now working with the rays that are being emitted by the soul. So the soul is made of photon light. And each photon, if you imagine it to have a face to it, meaning a facet, a side to it, each and every single photon, those photons vibrate and move. And as they move and vibrate, they reflect back a ray. And it will be a ray within the rainbow range. So each photon reflects, because they're all oscillating separately and yet as one, they reflect the different rays of the rainbow. So this photon, even though it's not this big, this photon could reflect the pink ray back to me. On this photon over here could reflect the blue ray or the green ray or the yellow ray back. So there are human beings on the planet that whilst we've got this descent, whilst we've got this intensity that is kind of like bringing everything up for a lot of people on the planet, you've also got human beings on the planet that are counteracting that energy by the energy work that they're doing with their souls, and they are working with the rainbow light. This isn't working with the rainbow light in a meditation or a course or going out of body. This is working with it in physicality, because they can see it or feel it or both. And those beings, by being able to work with the rainbow rays within their soul that they can see and feel, their energy ability is expanding and expanding and expanding and expanding. So it's like the scales. On one hand, we're going to see a lot, because there's nearly 8 billion people on the planet, so there's a lot of still unawakened. We're going to see sort of the chaos, and it's going to seem like there's a descent that way. But look, if this is the scales, yeah, the weighing scales, then as this appears in the dream to go into lower and lower and lower vibration, look what's happening at the other end of the scales. So we're going higher and higher and higher and higher. And the way we go higher is via our choice. Our human will is one of the most powerful tools we have. Choice. Choice how to react to what plays out in front of us. I could react this way and descend and lower my own energetic frequency and descend and lower it. And that would be the energy value that I would be emitting. Or I can choose to see what's happening outside of me, whether it's collective or individual, and I can choose to not let it affect me. I can stay in my own vibration and do that. And that's a choice for everyone has. And if I do that, this is the higher energy I can emit out of the body to everyone and everything, not just the planet, not just humanity. So there's a huge, huge potential happening right now. and that energy increase that people will be experiencing individually kind of got activated within us after those 6 days of intense incoming energies. So we really have shifted up a gear for sure. So there you go. It's this and that, isn't it? The polarized field. The greatest tool for everybody, excuse me just while I get a drink, to remember you have in every single moment, in any moment, today, tomorrow, an hour's time, is your choice of what you think, your choice of what you say, your choice of what you do in actions, your choice of how you choose to react. You don't have to be at the mercy of the Maya. You don't have to be at the mercy of the illusion. You don't have to be at the mercy of the people in your immediate reality. Because inside you, you always have choice. You can be in a field of chaos and be at peace and be free. But that freedom comes from within you. It's not found out there. It's found inside first. That's your sovereignty. We get to choose what we choose to think about. Shall I think about this and let it go round and round and round and round in my brain till it drives me potty or makes me sad, makes me angry? Shall I keep thinking this thought or this subject, or shall I change the subject and think about something that feels good, that will raise my vibration? The other thing that I really want to bring awareness to before I go, again, it just seems to be something that can get forgotten when we're in the midst of our own turmoil, when we're in our descent on that sine wave, is that with every action there's a with every reaction there's another consequence. In other words, what our thoughts are create. What we think about creates the next moment, because we are literally the creators of our reality. What we say to another outside of us has consequences. What our acts are, what we choose to do, how we choose to behave, the actions that we take in our own lives, they have consequences. And that's all part and parcel of being aware that we're responsible for that. That's the part, that's the hard part. And the only thing to do, because it is easier, is to become aware of your own thoughts and choose your thoughts, because you have that power. You have that power to choose to think about whatever you want to think about. That's your power, and nobody can take that from you. And that's why, in a field of chaos or confusion or noise outside of you, if you just go inward into your own vibration, your own inner field, and be present there, you can then find your own peace, find your balance. And then what you can then do is emit that out to the field around you through your own field, to the vicinity around you, or when you practice and practice and practice this, it becomes this very vast, expansive field. And that's what you can give. And you can just do that so quietly. Is it real? Yes. Because everything is energy. Everything. A thought is energy and it has a value. Words have energy and values. It's the vibration. Our actions are energy and have values. So I'm going to leave it there. I wanted to come on because I'm aware of the intensity to come. And if you can just be aware of what's to come, in a way, it will come individual to you because you're your own world. Yeah, it's designed for you. And just become aware of how you choose to react. And we don't always get it right. Believe me, I'm a fine example of not getting it right. But we learn by that. We learn by how we reacted, or we can do. We don't have to. But if we're wanting to expand, we will learn by how we reacted. And then choose again in the next moment, and the next, and the next. The greatest thing everyone has is choice. Choice of what to think, what to say yes to, what to say no to. To also remember that you have choice when to speak and when not to speak. Just because a person wants you to speak doesn't mean you have to, doesn't mean you have to be there. What is the highest thing to do in that moment? Is it to speak, or is it to say nothing? There's a choice. Find your own inner wisdom. I guess what I really, really want to say to end with is why we came. This is what we've come for. These times. We can add to the chaos, add to another person's pain, or we can rise. We can do it together. We can be that light that we came here to emit from our bodies, consciously so. This is why we've come. We've been ridiculed, we've been mocked, we've been told that we're crazy, but energy just is. It's vibration. And when you become consciously, physically aware of energy, you know that you're not blind to how reality truly works. Or at least we're blind, we're less blind than we were. We don't know everything, no. But this is the timeline we've come for. Some people are just going to choose to go. They don't need to be here anymore. Celebrate that. But if you've chosen to stay, choose to shine your light, to make the difference, or to add to the chaos of the lower vibrations. And in terms of this timeline, in terms of the people that are already awake, choose whether to keep fighting the people next to you that are awake as well. Do you still want to argue with them in this timeline? Or do you actually want to unify and join together and be a changing energy for all? You don't need to fight. You don't need to shout. You don't need to argue or debate an opinion or prove your truth. None of us do. There's nothing to prove and everything to be. This is the timeline where you choose to shine. It's why you've awakened, whether it's 1 year or 30 years. So my dearest wish is that we celebrate any differences out there and just honor why we came, to be the change, to be the difference. Love each other, celebrate the differences. You don't have to agree with everybody. We never will, but you can honor everybody's choice. When things get more chaotic out there, remember, this is why you came. To be the light that will make the change. Okay. So, no idea if any of that helps, as always. Thank you for coming on. And I just send love to you all, understanding for how difficult it is. I know only too well how difficult it has been. I truly do. But we get to choose. We can rise above it all. In any single moment, we choose it. That's our power. Okay. So God bless, and I will keep sharing, supporting, posting when I know I am too. Okay. Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.